Hey guys, and welcome back to my K-Series build on my 97 Civic. And today what I'm going to be showing you is how to remove the original engine from your Civic. And if you haven't seen the previous videos on this car, I'll make sure to leave a link to my playlist above. This could be applicable to any late 80s, 90s to early 2000s Honda Civics. There will be little differences here and there, and this is being done on an EK Civic. But for the most part, the whole concept behind it is going to be very similar. And I will say that this is something that you could probably do in your driveway, even though I'm doing this on the lift today. So the first thing that I'm starting off with is draining all the fluids. And I didn't realize I haven't changed the oil in quite some time just because the car has been sitting. But I was really impressed with the condition of the transmission fluid because I actually haven't touched it ever since I bought this car from an auction. And for those that don't know, this was actually a biohazard car when I picked it up for the first time. So I'm here pulling out some of the under tray so that I can get some access now to remove the coolant. And this will just be, pretty procedural stuff when it comes to you just making sure that you got the next steps for taking out all the fluids, because you don't want to keep those in there in case, it leads to a huge disaster and you spill fluids all over the place. Now, the trickier part that I feel really fortunate with that didn't give me too much trouble was actually the exhaust system. Now, some of these bolts, especially on a rusty car, they can snap, they can get stuck, they can get seized. But I lucked out with just using a little bit of penetrating oil and they zipped right off, which, that was such a huge relief. And swivel head sockets are going to be your best friend too. And you can disassemble the exhaust in so many different ways. I decided to keep the header on up top because I was working from the bottom and I just thought it would be a little bit easier just to disassemble this for now. Next, you'll want to go to the most annoying part of all this when taking out your D-Series engine, and that's going to be pulling out the shifter pin. And some people like to use explicitives because this is like one of the worst parts of it. But I just learned very recently that you can use an AC bolt to take that out, which, man, that's just amazing. I would have never guessed that in a million years. We actually just ended up using a regular punch. And I also pulled the shifter from the bottom. Some people would disassemble this from the top, but again, since I had this on the lift and I just wanted to go through this as quickly as possible, I ended up just disassembling most of the shifter assembly and the arms down below. And it's kind of the same concept. And I actually have a hybrid racing shifter on this one. So it's a little bit different when you pull it out versus the OEM stuff. But again, it's really not rocket science here. So now I got the car back down and I'm taking up all the stuff from the top, which really you can do this however you want. This is just kind of picking and choosing whatever you want to take off first. So you saw that I took off the strut tower brace, and then now I'm working on the hoses for the radiator and then the cold air intake, which was one of my favorite things on the Civic. It really opened up the induction noise. But with the D16Y7 that's in this car, it has one of the weirdest intake manifolds you'll ever see, where it's like going upwards. And it's known for being very efficient, but it's not the best for making power. So if I'm going to be pulling out this D-Series and possibly turboing it, I'm thinking doing a D16Y8 swap would be the way to go. But you guys can let me know down in the comments what you think I should do with this. So now I'm focusing now on removing all the stuff for the fuel. So that's just the fuel filter. You want to take off that fuel line so that it doesn't get in your way. And then something that I feel like not a lot of people talk about either is making sure to remove the grounds. And especially when you do your swap, grounds are going to be super duper important. And that was just me flashing up on the screen the AC diagram, because I'm actually going to be running AC on this build for my JDM K24A. So I want to do my best here to make sure that I don't completely destroy all the AC lines. So I'm using this outrageously large crescent wrench because the nut on those is a crazy size. But the rest of it is just like your typical 10 millimeters and maybe like a 8 millimeter, if I remember, on some of those AC bolts. And it can get a little tight in here, but again, all stuff that you can totally do and it's not going to hold you back. But I think that in this case, I made the mistake of keeping the header on, and then it was getting really close to the AC condenser, which was just a little bit too close for comfort. So once I got all that stuff out of the way, it's just like, man, there is so much real estate in here. And you start to realize that this is just a tiny little 1.6 liter. But now that I got everything out of the way up front, I needed to worry about the wiring harness. And I feel like there's two ways that you can go about this. And you could either do what I'm doing right now, where I'm just gonna fish the whole wiring harness from the inside out. And this requires just pulling off the panel there. And then you can get the ECU, which is being held in by like one 10mm bolt, a bunch of just like plugs here and there. And this is very easy. And I know a lot of people that actually, they just pull their ECU when they leave their car for a long period of time, because these cars are pretty common for getting stolen. So it's very, very easy to pull this stuff out. You can even leave it fully exposed. I'm not going to put anything back because, of course, we're going to be running K-Pro V4 for this engine swap. So I'm going to be back in here pretty soon anyways. And to get the camera in there was kind of ridiculous. I kind of felt like I was cave diving in one of those claustrophobic videos. If you know, you know. But once you move all the wiring harness out of the way on both sides, it will open up things for you so much more. And then now you can start with taking off the axles. So this will be kind of a crapshoot depending on your car. Since I actually just replaced the upper and lower control arms on this car, all this stuff came out very easily, but sometimes you'll need to use a ball joint separator. And then I made the mistake of forgetting to take off the suspension wishbone. So you'll see me here struggling for a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. Luckily, I had my divisive purse hitting device. So once I took that out, all that was good. And then I needed to fish out the axle next, which was also giving me a lot of trouble. But luckily, just with pounding it with the pry bar very carefully, you don't want to ruin this stuff, I was able to slowly get it to come out. And that was probably the most frustrating part of this whole entire day of getting this stuff out, because the rest of it goes very easy. So you want to start taking off the mounts. I took off the AC mount, and then the other one that's in the front that holds it on the transmission side. And you don't have to worry about this falling on you or anything, because of course you have the two ones up top, but you still want to be very careful here. And for this approach, of course, we're going to be doing this from the bottom. So I got a pallet with a tire on top to make sure that this will safely come out. So the back mounts are these huge bolts. I had to use a bunch of extensions and swivels to get through here because I'm stubborn and I wanted to use my 3/8 impact, because probably sitting there and doing it by hand is going to take 3 to 5 business days. So that's all dependent on you. You can even take the engine out with the subframe, but I found that just doing it this way for me was a lot easier. So now that I had the rear mount that connected to the subframe completely out, I pulled out the first mount on one side, and that was very exciting for me because it went really smoothly. And now taking off this one, when I was looking back at the footage, I kind of wished that I kind of kept my fingers out of the way, but it's okay. And I think that it's all good. I would just say in the future, just be careful about your fingers putting them there, because, you know, there's the weight of the engine happening on that. And once it dropped down, this was the smoothest engine removal I think I've ever done, because usually something gets hung up, like a wire, a sensor, something like this, but really once I started sending it up on the lift, it just plopped right down. And I couldn't believe it, honestly. It's very cool to go through this process and just know that it's so smooth. So for anybody out there that's going to be taking the engine out of your Civic, just know that it's definitely not difficult. If it takes you more than a day, that's all good. It's better to take your time and be patient with this stuff, but really anybody can do this. So I hope this helps.